Welcome or welcome back to Space Cowboy. Starfield launches in just a matter of days. And when you start the game, you're going to be very overwhelmed. There's going to be a lot to do, a lot to take in, and then when you finally have free reign, there's going to be an infinite amount of things that you can run around, do, collect, upgrade character, work for different factions, all of that awesome stuff. So today what we're going to do is help simplify that a little bit. We're going to talk about all of the factions that are available to you in Starfield. Now, these are joinable factions. There are extra ones as well, which we will talk about a little bit. But the main focus today is going to be on those main factions that you'll be able to join in playing Starfield. If you're a fan of Starfield, subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let's jump in and check out the Starfield factions. Throughout Starfield, there are 6 major factions which are all vying for control amongst these other smaller factions. Now, these 6 major ones are all joinable, and they are the Constellation, United Colonies, Crimson Fleet, Freestar Collective, Rygen Industries, and the Xenofresh Corporation. Now, those ones are definitely joinable, and you can fight with and alongside them. Obviously, joining one may piss off a different one. Working or doing missions for one may upset somebody else. So you will end up limiting who you can actually work for by working for certain factions throughout the game. These will also impact your decisions with your companions. If you work for the wrong faction, one of your companions might be a little bit pissed off with you. If you do something for one faction and not the other, once again, your companion might get angry. Whether or not these companions have the ability to leave based on your actions is yet to be seen. Hopefully that is not the case, because all of these factions sound like they have their benefits in certain ways, and obviously some of them have downsides in others. Like the Freestar Collective, they just sound awesome. They're like space cowboys. United Colonies have all of the firepower and the majority of control over a lot of regions and star systems. Whereas Constellation is the main faction that we'll be joining and working with from the start. So let's have a little bit of a look and more detail on what each of these factions is and what they do. Starting off with Constellation. Now, they are in the Alpha Centauri system, and they are basically the Explorer faction, which is searching for artifacts that will help us see or find something towards the end of the game. As we've seen in some of the trailers, you walk up to an artifact, touch it, and it gives you some sort of vision. Now, what the Constellation are there for, they are hunting down these artifacts to try and figure out what they are and what they do. Now, they're based in New Atlantis and were founded in 2275 by Sebastian Banks. Over the years and by 2330, as the need to explore the galaxy and figure out what is going on around you has sort of faded into obscurity, so did Constellation, and it became a shadow of its former glory, and many people don't know that it still exists. It is known as the last group of space explorers and is dedicated to answering the question of what is out there. In 2310, Constellation have obtained an alien artifact which is stored in the organization's archives. Barrett undiscovered the artifact in 2326 and recognized it was something special. The quest to find more artifacts and investigate the origins became the group's new focus, which is where you come in. Now, Constellation is one of the main factions that you can join in the game. You'll meet them relatively early on. Whether they'll give you your first missions or not is yet to be seen. We do know in that first 10 minutes of gameplay they are not actually in that yet. So, it may be a little bit later on that we come into them, but these are one of the first joinable factions. In 2328, Barrett convinced the Constellation to purchase the Star Station L868, and then they modified that to be basically a massive deep space satellite, and they have named it the Eye. In 2330, after the spacefarer comes into contact with the artifact whilst working for Argos extractors, they're invited to join the Constellation by Barrett. Now, you are that spacefarer, and we have seen this bit in the trailers. Now, once you've come into contact with this artifact, you'll head back to the Constellation's base where you will meet Sarah Morgan, and she will try and enlist you to help uncover the mysteries of the artifact and find the rest of the pieces to this puzzle. Now, Sarah Morgan is also a companion. You can have her join you, and the Constellation is sort of a way to build you into the game where you can figure out what other factions do, where they come from, what their sort of end goal is, and whether you want to join them or not. You can also stick with the Constellation, as finding the artifacts will be a main sort of quest in the game. Next up is the biggest faction, which pretty much has a hold on everything and everyone that we could see. They have an absolutely massive fleet of ships, including this giant beast here, which I really do hope we can build in the game. Now, these are the United Colonies. They are a joinable major faction, and they are in the Alpha Centauri system. They are the dominant group in the game. You will see remnants of them everywhere we go, and there's even another faction that has overthrown one of their old bases and uses that to their own ends, and it looks quite cool, to be fair. Now, the United Colonies, or the UC, is the most powerful faction in Starfield and one of two established governments in the settled system. It's a centralized republic with numerous member colonies across multiple star systems and wields the strongest military force, as obviously you can see by the ship that I showed just a second ago. Now, that ship is absolutely massive. It's even got ships docked to it, and judging by the size of those things and the size of the cannon that's on the front, this is a big old ship. This is a floating planet, should we say. And it just looks absolutely amazing. And they own the capital city of New Atlantis. It was established in 2159, 3 years after humans first arrived in Alpha Centauri, and the colony of New Atlantis was founded in 2160. This officially became the United Colonies capital in 2161. The UC did attempt to expand into the independent system of Narion in 2194, but residents protested and voted to join the Freestar Collective instead. The dispute was over, and Narion escalated into the Narion War, which then concluded in 2216 with the Treaty of Narion. The UC ceded its claim over Narion and recognized it as a Freestar member. Now, the Freestar Collective are very, very cool. They're like the Cowboys of Space, but we will go into those in a little bit later. But there were tensions between the Freestar and the UC in 2308, when the UC lodged a formal complaint over Freestar's colonization of the Lunera system and insisted that the Treaty of Narion prohibited Freestar from claiming a fourth star system. After diplomatic talks failed, the UC besieged the Freestar colony on planet Vesta and killed all of the defenders, igniting the giant colony wars. The second conflict ended in 2311. After the UC Navy lost the Battle of Cheyenne to a Freestar flotilla of military and civilian ships. In response to the defeat, the UC created the UC Vanguard, a civilian navy pledge to protect the UC member colonies and interests. As of 2330, the UC military forces are on high alert due to increased aggression from the Crimson Fleet, which has established new footholds in several systems that threaten the UC territory. So they are a very large faction, and it seems like the only guys that really hold their own against them are the Freestar Collective, which, once again, the Freestar Collective just look like the best bunch. I really want to join those guys. Those and Constellation, they just look awesome. I've not really seen any other faction that I want to go, yeah, that looks cool, I want to work for them, other than the Freestar Collective. Mainly that's because of my YouTube channel and the theme of it. But the United Colonies is so big, they have their own command system, which is called MAST, the Military, Administrative and Scientific Triumvirate. I think that is. I can't say that word, maybe. And the military representative of MAST is Fleet Admiral Pascal Logan. The military and security duties are apparently carried out by organisations called the UC SEC, UC SysDef, and the UC Vanguard, but it's currently unknown what each group's exact role is. Now, these guys are big, these guys are bad, and I have a feeling we're probably going to be fighting quite a few of them. Next up is the Freestar Collective. These are once again another joinable major faction. They are located in the Cheyenne star system, and they are the only other established government in the settled systems. They're a libertarian confederation of 3 distinct star systems, and they possess the second largest military force. Their capital is in Aquila City on the planet of Aquila. The collective was established in 2189, a year after Solomon Coe, the founder of Aquila City, invented the volley system to form an alliance with the Cheyenne systems. In 2194, the Narion system voted to join the Freestar Collective after the United Colonies placed the Clinic Star station above the planet Deepala and refused to remove it, which was seen as the prelude to an annexation. And then the collective mobilized to protect Narion in 2195, which, as we've just gone over, escalated and ended up with a big fight, and then the Treaty of Narion. And then the Freestar Rangers were founded in 2221 to serve as the elite protective and investigative force of the Freestar citizenry. The collective built a brand new farming colony on the planet Vista in the lunar system in 2307, which is what the UC sort of denied, didn't want that to happen, and they completely objected to it, claiming it was a violation of the treaty. And then, as we already know, big war kicks off, bish bash bosh, Battle of Cheyenne, and then by 2330, the peace between the Freestar and the UC has remained in place, but once again, it was fragile. The space western vibes that is what they're giving off. Massive space western vibes. Loads of colony wars, pushing for individualism and focusing on preserving their own well-being. They will now call themselves the Peacekeepers, and they will mainly protect their own people. But they are surrounded by the local alien predators, the Ashta. So, yeah. During character creation, there is an option which you can choose a Freestar Collective Settler. That is a special trait which gives you specific dialogue options that you can only get through having that trait, which will give you better rewards during quests and increase your bounties for crimes against other factions. Next up is the Crimson Fleet. Now, the Crimson Fleet are another large faction, a major one that you can join, and they are in the Crix system. They are pretty much space bandits and raiders. They are the bad guys of the universe, basically, and they do what they want when they want. But these guys are the largest of that sort of group of people. There are many other bandits and mercenaries out there, but these guys are the biggest, most collective group of them. The Crimson Fleet's faction headquarters is the Key, which is a former United Colonies space station located in the Crix system. Now, whether the Crimson Fleet overtook that from the United Colonies, I'm not 100% sure about that one. I couldn't find whether that's a definite or not, but I assume they did overtake it and then made that their own. Now, anyone displaying their Crimson Fleet symbol, or their gang signs, basically, they will be shot on sight. The Crimson Fleet is not a single organised entity, but a loose confederation of individual pirate captains, all organised under the same banner. The Crimson Fleet has been localised problem for the Freestar Collective, but in 2330 the pirates have expanded far beyond the Crix system and established new footholds in Sagan, Cheyenne, Linara and Narion. This has caused the United Colonies to officially recognise the Crimson Fleet as a growing threat and commit to eliminating it. Members of the Crimson Fleet can be identified by their use of the Jolly Roger, which was adopted as its emblem, and members can never leave once they join. Once you have joined, the only way out is death. So, if you want to be a bad guy throughout the game, then yeah, you can join these guys, but if you don't, then yeah, maybe shoot these guys on sight. It's probably the best way to do it. They are the Space Pirate faction, and they've got a very classic skull and crossbones as their fleet symbol, which, yep, pirate, skull and crossbones. But they're pretty much bad dudes who do not like the United Colonies' dominance over the settled systems. Now, it has been said that you can join them fully, as we already know, or there is, whilst working for the United Colonies, I think, or the Freestar Collective together, you can go undercover and infiltrate the Crimson Fleet, which is very cool. I'm quite excited. I think, going undercover, being a bad guy for a little bit, but not getting shot in the face is going to be fun. And next up, we have Raijin Industries, which pretty much look like the Yakuza of Starfield. As well as being the Yakuza of Starfield, they are also the Amazon Prime of Starfield. So they are a major joinable faction who is in the Volley system. They are a major corporation that offers products throughout the settled systems, and its headquarters is located in the pleasure city of Neon, which looks like a city out of Cyberpunk, not going to lie, but it does look very, very cool. It's the space take on a mega corporation and has one of the best starts of any of the Starfield factions, which sounds quite cool. We don't really know if these guys are good or bad, but they're basically out there to make money more than anything else. We have seen a little bit of their background with nightclubs and all the party scenes that you see in the trailers. They are from Raijin Industries. They have a criminal underground of nightclubs and loads of other bits and bobs. And then finally, the last joinable is the Xenofresh Corporation. They are joinable, and they are also in the Volley system. There's not really too much out there about these guys. I've had a look around, and I can't really find too much about them. But they are a corporation operated in the settled systems, constructed the pleasure city of Neon. So basically, they built Neon, which is where Raijin Industries is home. And they're basically like drugs. These guys are the drug smugglers. And they have a certain type of fish which has psychotropic properties, and they've used this species to create a popular, but mostly illegal drug of Aurora. Now, we have seen some other little bits about them basically making sort of robots, or they own robots, but I can't find too much in depth about these guys, so it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do. Obviously, the Constellation, United Colonies, and the Freestar Collective are the big three top boys that most people are going to join. I will definitely join all six at one point. I did think there was a seventh, but I can't find for 100% that there is a seventh. Now, there are also loads of other smaller colonies and religions around the settled systems, so it does get quite complicated with all of them. But these ones are not joinable, but we've got the Ecliptic Mercenaries, which are, obviously the clue is in the name, and then the Enlightened Religion, the House of Viron Religion, the Sanctum Universum Religion, and then we have the Spacers, which are pretty much Marauders, and the Red Mile, and the Great Serpent Worshippers, which that one is also a religion. Now, these are all side factions. We can't join any of these guys. We can go out there, meet them, fight them. But the religious ones so far seem a little bit nuts. Which, I'm definitely going to be staying away from the religious ones, because they believe, a few of them, like the Great Serpent Worshippers, they obviously believe there is a great serpent out there which is created. And then the basis of some of the religions are that we are advancing as a civilization so we can go out and find God. So, you never know. You might come across God at some point. Or some crazy alien that's going to eat your face. But what do you think to Starfield's factions? Let me know in the comments down below. Which faction are you going to be joining? Which faction tickles your fancy the most? Which one are you going to shoot the shit out of? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you do not know, we have a giveaway going. It is over on our Twitter. The link is in the description down below. So definitely go check that out. It ends on Wednesday the 30th. So definitely check it out before then. For now, though, I've been Cowboy. You guys have been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.